Good evening, everybody. What a special moment to share with you tonight to prepare our place, our soul, our spirit. I'm gonna sing a couple of songs, so thank you for joining us tonight. Source of love that radiates, pouring up our cold night, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascades flowing down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in their heart, with love in their heart. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in our door. The solution lies in our door. My mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings, make your small son a good Christian, make your small son a good Christian. Hello, everybody. And tonight is a special meeting before Christmas time. So I decided to sing a song, and probably you know this song. It's a very beautiful song. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save her sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby has come to make you new? This child that to deliver will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy one day rule the nations? Did you know that that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb. That sleeping child you're holding is this great I am. Mary, did you know?
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start. When the sun turns off the moonlight, we get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise. And on the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, a new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win and a new ride. side of the mountain, there's always a whole new road, and a new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place to stay during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Following the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. East by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know to Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. Our next class is going to be on January 7th, which will be about vice. Amazing topic, right? If you want to join us in our study group, the registration link will be posted in the chat. So now I would like to invite our brother Publio to make our opening prayer.
Hello, everybody. I'm back and very happy because tonight is our last meeting before Christmas. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'd like to invite you to pray with us. Is our initial prayer. I'd like you, if it's possible, if you feel comfortable, close your eyes and think about Jesus Christ, our Master, beloved Master. In this moment, say, thank you, Lord, for the beautiful opportunity to be here tonight. Join with those people, learning about your teachings, Lord. We also ask permission to start our meeting tonight as well. Ask for the good spirits to be with us, Master. We also ask a permission for the spirits that all of us, like all of us, need the light of your gospel to brighten up our lives. So be with us today and forever. Be it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Publio. The topic of today's special meeting is Christ Could Have, which will be facilitated by our sister Anna from United States. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. And now we invite our tonight's speaker. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you very much. What a joy to be here with you
Uh,
this special week. Thank
I,
you very much for having me.
I'm very happy to have you here again. You are always welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I see you later.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. What a joy, as I just mentioned, to be back to this group and to speak about a topic that is dear to our heart, right? When we have the opportunity to talk about the governor of our planet, we really feel grateful, right? So let me start with the presentation. And I would like to let me make sure I share the slides here. Yeah. So I'm sure some people are curious about this title. Christ could have. It sounds like something is missing, right? And that was actually the idea, was to bring some curiosity, because the message that we will explore today is a very in-depth message, and I'm inspired by this book, Living Spring, which is a book with messages by the spirit Emmanuel, received by the medium Francisco Cândido Xavier. Especially a message in the lesson 116, named Go and Teach. So, to get started, and before talking specifically about this message, I would like to share a little bit, in case we have some people that are new to Spiritism. I just mentioned that the book was dictated by a spirit, Emmanuel. So I would just quickly would like to share with you who was Francisco Cândido Xavier, also known as Chico Xavier, and who was Emmanuel. So, if we can go to the next page, please. We're going to learn that Chico Xavier was born, he was a Brazilian medium. He was born in April 2nd, 1910. And passed away in June 30th, 2002. And just as a curiosity, we just had the World Cup, right? And Chico um, made a few comments when he was alive that he would like to pass away in a day that Brazil was very distracted with something else and was happy and celebrating something, so they wouldn't pay attention that in his discarnation. And so it happened in June 30th. That's when Brazil won the World Cup. So the whole country was celebrating, and Chico Xavier passed away that night, which is just a curiosity, but it just show a little bit of the amazing human being that he was. So in a period of 60 years, he wrote over almost 500 books, right? And several thousand letters and messages through psychography, which is this process of channeling the spirits. And these books were just amazing, right? They covered topics like religion, philosophy, historical romances, novels, Portuguese literature, poetry, science, as well as many messages of consolation and letters intended to really help those families of deceased persons during the sessions of psychography in his Spiritist center. And all of this was for free, right? Which was a life of complete dedication to serving others and to doing charity. In the next slide, in the last one, talking about Chico and Emmanuel, Emmanuel was his spiritual guide and the author of many of those books, including this book that we are uh, using as a base, one of the messages from this book, right? And according to Chico, Emmanuel lived in ancient Rome as a senator, Publius Lentulus. If you're curious about his story, it's a beautiful story. There is a book called 2000 Years Ago, and you can read and learn more about him. He had a chance to live while the senator Publius Lentulus in the time of Jesus, and when Jesus was crucified. It's a beautiful true story. And later he reincarnated in Spain as Father Damien, and there's another beautiful book about it. So to end the story about Chico, his book sold an estimated 50 million copies, and the revenue generated was totally channeled into charity work. And I like to make this comment because I think it's remarkable. All right, so let's now start with our topic of the day. So this message, and so just for you to understand how we're gonna do, my talk tonight is completely based on this message. So we will see it's not a long message, but it is a very deep message. And we will see all the parts of the message. So you're not going to see any word from me. From now on, it's the complete message, and we will reflect on each one of the parts. So Emmanuel starts with these words from Jesus. Therefore, go and teach. And then Emmanuel starts talking about the topic, right? As we ponder the Lord's commandment to his disciples, go and teach, we need to remember that Jesus himself came and taught. So Emmanuel starts with a very important comment here, right? With a very important statement. right? That we need to remember that these were not only words. Jesus said, go and teach. But we need to remember that Jesus himself came and taught. Let's continue. He came from the heavenly heights and taught the way of spiritual elevation to those who were stuck in earthly darkness. He came from heavenly heights. He came from the higher spheres that are even hard for us to imagine, right? How pure and pacific and loving and amazing are these spheres from where he came to be with us, to be with those who were stuck in earthly darkness. Emmanuel continues. Christ could have given this lesson through faithful emissaries. He's the Christ. As I mentioned before, if you study Spiritism, you know that Jesus Christ is the governor of planet Earth. Last week, we had Dr. Sergio Tizen from Brazil speaking. It was a brilliant lecture, not surprising, right? And he mentioned the time that Jesus came, right? And the moments that a group of spirits got together close to our sphere, right? And one of them was when our master was coming to earth, right? So he's the governor, right? He could have given this lesson through faithful emissaries, and he has many, right? But Emmanuel continues. Or he could have spoken brilliantly, explaining how to do it. And now I'm going to do a pause here. And I want you to understand why I chose the topic of this conversation. Christ could have. Because we know that he could have. He could have sent amazing emissaries. He could have spoken brilliantly, explaining them how to do. And even to us, he could have sent many messages through different workers, right? To different spirits, to different guides and helpers that we receive on earth all the time, right? He could have done that. And let's continue. However, in order to teach surely and fruitfully, he preferred to come to the world of human beings and dwell with them in order to show them how to live on the pathway to perfection. So he could have done so many things. He didn't need to come. However, in order to teach, in order to exemplify with his own presence, he preferred to come. This is Jesus, right? So when I was invited to talk today, I thought about this message immediately because there's so many things that we can talk when we are getting close to Christmas, right? When we are getting close to these days that the world celebrates. The world gets joyful, right? And many can feel the presence of the higher spirits around us, right? It's a magic moment to our planet. And so there's many things that we can talk about. But I thought about this simple message, simple but very deep. It's a message that Emmanuel brought to us that I think it does change many things. It does change the way we understand. And I think our level of gratitude, right? If we had like um, a scale, I think our level of gratitude to Jesus just grows, right? It just moves toward much more gratitude because the Master came here to be with us. And we all know his story. We all know everything that he faced, right? We all know that in the very end, he had to ask God to forgive us because we didn't know what we were doing, right? So he came to this valley of darkness. He himself came, right? And Emmanuel continues. Thus, rather than some other way, he humbled himself and was born in the manger. So, even from the very beginning, different than what so many people was waiting. Many people will think that he would come covered in gold. He would come in a so fancy and remarkable way. But that wouldn't match with his message of love, of simplicity, right? So he decided to come to be born in a manger. And Emmanuel continues. He honored work and study in the home. He said, my father works and my father continues to work and I work with him. And he gave the example, helping his father, right? And in public, he was the providential brother of all, helping each one according to his or her needs. So he was present, he was in the streets, right? He was in public, helping, healing people, allowing the children to come close to him. He was that being that I watched some years ago, a beautiful study where the speaker selected pieces of the gospel where Jesus is seen smiling. Jesus was happy. He was friendly. He was that embracing person, right? So this message is showing us that he was not away. He was not in a throne. He was in the public, close to everyone, right? And he proceeds. It is inarguably, so we cannot argue, right? It is inarguably correct that Jesus is called the divine master. These highlights in blue are my highlights, so just so you know. So Emmanuel here reminds us that he is, without any doubt, the divine master, not because he had a throne of gold, right? As we were just mentioning. And he continues. Not because he was the owner of the best library in the world. So Emmanuel is listing the things that why Jesus was called the divine master. Not because he had the best library in the world. And he continues. Not because he merely exalted the correct and irreproachable word. That was not what he was doing, right? What was he doing? Let's see. Not because he ascended the throne of cultural superiority. And let's think about, if you are knowledgeable about Spiritism, you know that Jesus Christ is a pure spirit, right? The most elevated level in the scale, right? He is a pure spirit, the only pure spirit that has ever stepped on earth, right? So, of course, his, his cultural superiority is inarguable, right? We cannot argue. However, he didn't ascend a throne to show that, dictating obligations to his listeners, right? And he continues. But because, so Jesus Christ is called the divine master because he lifted up his own heart in fraternal love. In teaching, made himself a benefactor to all those who received his sublime lessons. Jesus could have, remember? He could have sent someone else. He didn't need to come himself, but he did. He made himself available to us, close to us, right? And Emmanuel proceeds this beautiful message saying, he spoke to us about the eternal Father, and through his selflessness, he showed us the best way to search for him. How can we be close to him? Right? Remember, he said, every time two or more people get together in my name, there I will be. Right? He told us. We know that there's ways that we can bring Jesus to our house. For example, doing the gospel at home, right? At least once a week, getting together in prayer, reading a little piece of the gospel. Jesus will be there with us. He showed us how we can be with him. How can we bring him close to us, right? And Emmanuel continues. So, and that's, we're now coming to the end of the message. So, if you propose to work for the gospel, remember that speaking, advising, and informing are not enough. So, Emmanuel is not saying that this is not important, right? For example, a meeting like today, like this one that we are having today, is extremely important, right? How many people are out there are lost, right? We live in a world that people take their own lives every day. We hear some news, right? The statistics are alarming, right? And we know that, unfortunately, this is a very sad situation because we asked so much to be back, right? We know that we begged, according to the spirits, we didn't simply ask, we begged to be back, to have a second chance, right? To do better this time, right? We promised, this time I'm gonna do good. This time you can give me burdens, give me challenges, right? It's just when we decide to go back to school, we want to be there and we want to conclude and we want to succeed, right? We want to be approved in every course that we take when we decide to go to school. The spirits tell us that planet Earth is a school, right? So we are here. So every time we hear that someone is going through depression, right? Someone is not seeing the beauty of being here, of facing the challenges, because Jesus told us that we are free to sow, right? We receive the seeds and we can sow the seeds that we want. However, we will reap every seed that we plant, right? So, if we are facing challenges today, there's a reason, right? Because God is just. Jesus came to tell us that God is good, God is just. So, a moment of study, as we were invited to study Spiritism, talking about Jesus, learning, advising, informing is important. However, according to Emmanuel, it's not enough. And he ends this message with the following quote: Go and teach, in the words of Christ, means go and set an example so that others may learn how it should be done. So, enough of words, right? We are good with words, right? We love to many times judge others. We love to find the solutions for so many things in the world, right? But what are we really doing, right? Are we setting the example? So that's the invitation of this message. Could Christ could have sent someone, right? But he came himself to give us the example. So the invitation of Emmanuel is this: go and teach, right? Let's be, as we heard this quote so many times, right? Let's be the change that we want to see in the world. That's amazing. That's exactly what we need to do, right? Let's do our best, right? Let's enjoy this experience, this opportunity of being reincarnated in this moment, in a moment that this planet is going through a huge transformation, right? We are going in a it's a transitional moment for all of us, right? So let's enjoy. Let's be together with our friends, with our family in this end of the year. Let's celebrate Jesus' birth. And let's remember that he was simple, right? He was not in a throne of gold. That's not what we need for our lives. We need simplicity, and we need to put our hands to good work. That's the message that I would like to share with you tonight, that Christ could have, right? So let's ourselves do our part. Let's follow the Master, right? Our model and guide, as the spirits told Allan Kardec when he asked the spirits, right? If we have, uh, if there's any model and guide that we could follow, this is a question from the spirits book, and the spirits answered, see Jesus. Let's follow his steps. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Have a Merry Christmas and a blessed 2023. And again, thank you for these moments with you tonight.
Thank you so much, Anna, for your presentation, your beautiful presentation and reflection on these lessons.
You're
Uh,
very welcome. Thank you for having me.
yeah, it was really special, especially because it's about Christ, right? And we about to be on his birthday, as you said. So I think we have some comments and questions in the chat. Let me see. Someone. Okay. Publio is asking, why is it still so hard to follow Jesus Christ's teachings after knowing and understanding about all of this?
Well, wow, that's a good question. Why is it so hard for us, right? If we think about, he came more than 2,000 years ago. And many times we reflect, if he came nowadays, would it be different, right? How would we react, right? How much have we changed? How much have we evolved? So we know that nature doesn't change quickly, right? As we human beings don't too. So what we are in a path of evolution, right? How, however, if we look back 2,000 years ago, right, many people would be getting together in the circus, right, in the big stadiums to watch the Christians being destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that time, there was a common practice. Not anymore. So many times when we look at the world, if we only watch the news, for example, sometimes we have the impression that we are just going down the hill, that
Yeah.
we are lost and we don't know what we are doing, right? But there's a lot of charity being practiced. There's a lot of help. There's a lot of kindness in the world that many times we don't see, right? So we are evolving, right? And our planet is going, as I mentioned, is going through a transformation. We are in the path of the world of regeneration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, it's a slow process, but there is a limit to until when people decide not to follow the laws of love, right? That Jesus, the governor of the planet, brought,
Mm-hmm.
right? So a time will come when we won't be welcomed here anymore because the school will be in a different stage,
Yeah.
right? So those students that didn't learn the lesson will have to go to a different school, right? Because this school will be evolving as
Yeah.
everything in the world. So what
Mm-hmm.
makes it so hard for people? Because we are still selfish, right? Many times we, as I mentioned, we want to come so much here in this incarnation, but then when we come, we forget. And then we only think about material things. We
Mm-hmm.
only think about ourselves, right? So there's a lot of things that we will have to get rid to be able to welcome Jesus in our life, right? In a serious way, right? In a way that it's not only through words, as Emmanuel mentioned in the end of the message, right? We will have to go above and beyond what we do, right? To really exemplify and follow the master. And that requires effort and discipline to all of us.
Yeah. It's pride and selfishness, right?
Yes, absolutely. The main vices, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have more. Let's see here. Okay, Rod. Thank you so much for this insightful talk. And knowing our Master Jesus' moral superiority, how can we follow his humility and simplicity and apply it to our daily lives?
Thank you for the question, Rod. Yeah, that's a hard one, right? It's I think we have to remember, and it's interesting because when I was reading and listening to you also, I thought about issues of climate change, for example, right? So we receive invitations from different parts, from different sides, right? And I mentioned climate change because one of the issues that contribute to climate change is the amount of trash that we produce. Is the we buy so many things that we don't need. We produce so many things, right? For those, for example, that love shoes, some people have 20, 30 pairs of shoes. Some people buy shoes, and I know some people like that they are still in the boxes. They probably will never use, right?
or
Not even
there's,
remember that have.
yeah, they even exactly. So we actually, for those that live in a house that has a basement, some people start piling things in their basement, things that they don't really need.
Uh-huh.
We are coming to in a time of that we celebrate
Mhm.
Jesus' birth, right? Sometimes with a lot of excess,
Yeah,
sometimes with too many gifts. Do
yeah,
we really need
yeah,
to invest so much, right? So what is it really important to us? Do we really need so much, right? I
yeah,
think that the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, was a great moment to show what's really important to us,
yeah,
right? We learned that we really didn't need that much, right? We opened our closet, and for some people, for more than a year,
mhm,
all those fancy clothes to go to work were there, and
yeah,
we were living in our pajamas in our house, right?
mhm,
We couldn't buy many things. We learned that we can live with less, and we can live happier with our family.
yeah,
So I think that this lesson of simplicity is a hard one, because the world invites us, right?
yeah,
I live in the United States. You guys live in Canada. We might have people from different places,
yeah,
but in some countries of the world, material goods are more accessible than in other places.
yeah, especially in North America, right?
Yeah. So we really have to be cautious about this,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, we get lost in the things that we want, in the things that
we
sometimes
need.
the examples that we give to our kids. So
Mhm.
I think it's a work in progress to
Yeah,
each one of us, right?
yeah, true. And we have more from me.
Ah,
Great talk. And thank you so much. So, can you tell us at the end of your talk, you were talking about Jesus' invitation. So, can you
yes.
tell us how can we accept Jesus' invitation to be a better person?
I I think that's the million-dollar question, right? Because it's so personal, right?
Mhm.
We last year we had I had the opportunity also to speak here in this time of the year, and we brought that message when Jesus was born to you, right? And it's a beautiful message when the author was exploring so many different figures, right? For example, from Zacchaeus, when Jesus was born to him, right? And it was an interesting way to talk about December 25, which is the day that Jesus was born, but not born to each one of us,
Mhm.
inside ourselves, right? Because again, many times we get lost in so many fancy gifts, in excessive food and drinks and so many things, and we forget the birthday boy, right?
Yeah.
We and so how can we accept his message, right? I feel that again, it's a step by step,
Mhm.
right? We It's very hard to change from one day to the other,
Mhm.
right? So I feel that it's how we look at the world. It's how we look at our brothers and sisters around us.
Mhm.
It's how close we get to them and how supportive we are in moments of crisis, for example.
Mhm.
Or how do we react in our workplace or with our family when we disagree on a topic? So I think we accept his message of love in small moments, in a daily basis,
Yeah.
right?
To be
And
effective needs to be slowly, right?
I see, yeah, because otherwise it gets too heavy, right?
Mhm.
If I want to change, right, from one day to the other, it might be too much.
Yeah.
But if I go little by little, right, as Saint Augustine suggested us in the
Mhm.
Gospel, every night, evaluate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We have the agenda of self-enlightenment,
Yeah.
right? Which is a from the Altered Souls, a publisher, right? Which is an amazing program that we
Mm-hmm.
can evaluate ourselves every night. So little by little, let's look at our actions because we will fall. We are in a process of evolution, right? We will many times get disappointed with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we always have a chance to be back, right? Just like I like that example of resilience, which is
Mm-hmm.
the palm tree, right? That bounces when a very heavy wind comes. The bends when a wind comes, but bounces back,
Yeah.
bounces back. So let's be like the palm tree, right? That moves, that bends if needed, but let's bounce back, right? Let's, as I mentioned, let's take advantage of
Mm-hmm.
this moment, this precious moment that we waited so much, right? And let's little by little keep
Mm-hmm.
the message of our divine master and try to apply little by little, and we will get better for
Oh,
sure, right?
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we have the greeting from Anna. Anna,
Oh, Diana, see
okay.
you here.
Yeah. Oh, we have another one. Oh, what a great talk, Anna. Thank you very much for reminding us about how great was Jesus' teaching. It was really glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you, Rodrigo, for the comments. That message really touches my heart too, because it was in my mind. That's why I chose that topic. Christ could have, right? He could have sent someone, but he
mhm.
came himself, right? And from there, right? I think it's a great reflection for us.
Yeah, it's true. So once again, thank you so much.
You're
We love
very
it.
welcome. It's my
We
pleasure.
we are always happy when you are here with us, and as I
Thank you.
said, you will always be welcome here. Okay, and
Thank you
Merry
so much,
Christmas and Happy
Marcel.
New Year for you and your family.
Thank you very much, and for all of you too.
Thank you, and thank you for your participation in the chat. We will now move to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. Pass is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the fast, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. And now we will make a prayer in preparation for the fast, which will be our closing prayer as well. So now I invite everyone to close our eyes, elevate our thought, and mentalize Jesus and Mother Mary. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here, for this blessed night that we could learn more about your teachings. We know that we are at the time of year when we try to be kinder, be better, and spread love. We ask you and the good spirits to help us to keep doing all these things every day of our lives. We thank you for everything you have done for us. Please bless us, our family, our friends, and all the humanity. May your love dwell in people's hearts and please stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil. Washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
Sorry. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Conference Americas at 8:30 p.m. East. And next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and the Spiritist Group Path of the Life. Have you a good night, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Actually, only Merry Christmas. See you next Tuesday. Have a good night.
Come on, my friend, come to the light. Here with all our heart and soul, let's follow Jesus Christ. Let us preach the peace, let us preach the love. And this world already wonderful will be much more. Get up, look at the sky, in the earth where the flowers bloom with sunshine. Let's hold our hands and be together on this road. Then we take peace and love and spread it to the world.